ready to tip it off here from the PMAC. Tigers control the tip. Michaela Williams, 12 in white. We talked about her just moments ago. Let's see if she can get off to a quick start. Looking to find Kate Koval through a couple of defenders. No, but there's Zakiya Johnson helping things out as we take a look at today's starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. Well, some new faces transitioned into this Texas Tech lineup. Nunez, the experienced point guard to go along with Danae Fritz. And this group for Krista Gerlich out of the Big 12, exceeding great expectations this season. 5 to go on the shot clock. Bailey Boffin puts it up and well off the mark from 3.
An interesting area in this game that we're going to keep an eye on is rebounding. Texas Tech, every drill they did started out with a box out. They know how important it is going to be to keep LSU off the glass.
And a shot clock violation as Felicia Grinter, Billy Smith, and Kristen Bell are officials. Well, Krista Gerlich, 6th season at her alma mater, Big 12 Coach of the Year honors. Remember, she was a part of that sensational run for the Lady Raiders, winning the national championship back in 1993. Up ahead, Zakiya Johnson was blocked by Sanogo. Sarah Sanogo, the senior out of Paris, France, rejecting that shot.
Texas Tech, anytime there is a dead ball and they're on defense, they're going to start with full court pressure. Now LSU, they want to attack the pressure and they just want to go score. You won't see them set up. They're going straight to the rim.
7 different scorers who had double digits as just shaken off. Michaela Williams, boy, again, she had an impressive opening round game against Jacksonville Friday. Puts up her first 2 here.
In watching Michaela Williams over the last 48 hours, she's got that bounce, the happiest I have seen her play all season. She is playing with such joy, confidence, and very intentional in everything she's doing.
Skips it across, great connection always with Flau'Jae Johnson. Off the mark there, Koval couldn't get a hang of it, and it's going to be Texas Tech basketball.
Just, look, intentional in off the dribble. Defense falls down, finds the rim, and knocks it down.
Williams, the junior out of Bossier City, Louisiana, northern part of the state. Jillian Bristow being guarded by Zakiya Johnson, one of the great freshmen on this team inside, and Johnson able to take it away. Caring for the basketball is going to be of utmost importance for Texas Tech if they want to try to pull off an upset here, as Flau'Jae Johnson showing off the handles in her bag early.
Big Foe is playing like a woman on a mission.
Final home game, as we mentioned, on her home court. Teammates wanting to send her out with the bang, as we heard Alyssa Lang tell us earlier. And this crowd, much like we saw Friday, feels very similar to the energy we're sensing on the court from the Tigers.
Well, there's a lot of passion in the support of Flau'Jae Johnson. Said, why are you here? They all said, Big Foe. They love how she plays, the passion she plays with, and they are very connected to her.
And they have the Big 4 signs that they're holding up every time Flau'Jae gets the ball, and certainly with the score, they are ready to go off and get behind Flau'Jae Johnson once again. Kim Mulkey, 5th season in this program, originally from the state of Louisiana, 4-time national champion. We mentioned she brought home a natty, the first ever in this program back in 2023. And this team poised to try to make another run. This time the Phoenix is the destination. Zakiya Johnson with the steal, couldn't finish at the rim. Koval comes up with the loose ball and puts it in. An 8-0 start. Flau'Jae Johnson imploring the crowd to get behind him, continuing to rise to this level inside the PMAC. An 8-0 advantage early on for the Tigers. Diagram exactly that play that was drawn up.
Well, if you can see this now, the top one is the explanation that Flau'Jae said. Michaela said, no, this is what it looked like, because there were a lot of scriggles on the floor.
Oh, those two have had so much fun. They've clicked ever since Michaela Williams has come on to campus. Right now, they're enjoying an 8-0 lead here in this first quarter of the second round game against Texas Tech. Jada Malone, who is hounded by a few different white jerseys, and a foul whistled against Jada Richard. And Richard with her first personal foul. This Texas Tech group on the Big 12 tied for fourth. Great turnaround that we have seen from Krista Gerlich and her crew as Maupin in a straddle on the floor gives it back to Nunez. And got to get a shot up. One on the shot clock. She puts it up in desperation. No, but tracking down and a second chance opportunity. That's an area where they struggled Friday in terms of being out-rebounded by Villanova here. Already a couple of offensive boards.
Well, the way that Texas Tech wants to score is get touches in the paint.
Again, late shot clock heave, or shot rather, and a violation against the Lady Raider.
And Kim Mulkey has talked about how this team, they have so many scores. They're leading the nation in scoring, but she said the thing they emphasize every day is defense and rebounding. And she said, as we emphasize that, she said, we show them when they play good defense, and that was one of those times. She was trying to hype up the crowd.
Johnson again, and where they have been so successful inside the paint, leading the country with paint points, all 10 of them this afternoon coming in the painted area.
You look at this LSU team and how they're built. And Zakiya Johnson, she won 4 state championships in high school.
And the first field goal knocked down by Danae Fritz. Fritz, who got going early. Correction, Hima Nunez. As they like to see that from her, the transfer from Campbell. Malone comes up with the rebound. Nunez, the lone points. The flip over to Maupin in transition, and that was a nice rhythm three.
This is a difference in how they played on Friday. On Friday, they were so focused on getting the ball inside that when shooters had shots, I think it was an afterthought. They're thinking shot first today.
Extra contact inside by Malone. And 4:44 remaining in this first quarter. And again, they shared the wealth against the Dolphins and already off to a nice start here this afternoon against Texas Tech. Those 15 100-point games this season, tied for most in Division I. They reeled off 8 straight, or rather 9 straight to open the season. Flau'Jae Johnson tried to pass it into Amaya Joyner. She checked in along with Mylasia Fulwiley for the Tigers. Meanwhile, Maupin sent up the offense. And what have you seen in their offensive sets throughout the season, Carolyn, where they can kind of probe and have success here?
Well, Texas Tech will start out in a set, but they eventually get to spreading the floor out and then cutting or driving like, ooh.
And taking the charge and the punishment, Bailey Maupin, the emphatic fist pump from Krista Gerlich, watching her 4-year player give up her body. Kim Mulkey not pleased with the call. Another look here. They're going to say it's a not a traveling violation, but it looked like she took a step, but she went right into the body of Bailey Maupin.
We talked to Marcia Sharp and asked her about Bailey Maupin, the former Texas Tech coach, and she described her as West Texas grit. You see that right there.
Yeah. Danae Fritz sees that one bounce off. And it's going to be LSU basketball.
Again, when you play against LSU, if you can't get the rebound, knock it out of bounds. Don't let them get out in transition, giving Texas Tech an opportunity to try to get that press set.
Joyner flips it over to Michaela Williams, looks down, 3, too strong. Joyner up, and she'll go to the charity stripe. Amaya Joyner, who did not play Friday, a coach's decision. And she's in action here this afternoon, and that's the second personal foul picked up by Jada Malone for the Lady Raiders.
And Joyner, a terrific addition, coming in from East Carolina, up to 9 points a game and over 7 rebounds.
So Malone will sit down with those 2 fouls. Joyner, the senior out of Farmville, North Carolina. Well, coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com.
I'm trying to recover from my Vanderbilt Commodores. I thought Tyler Tanner's shot was halfway in, but came out, and so Nebraska advances.
A few teams survive, but you also have hope with the Vanderbilt Commodores on the women's side. In that Fort Worth 1 regional, they'll be in action tomorrow against Illinois. It's a wonderful time of year.
Snetta Collins has been a rim protector for the Raiders.
We talked about some nice additions for Krista Gurlick. She needed to add a playmaker like Snetta Collins coming over from Ole Miss. The Big 12 Sixth Woman of the Year inside the Sunogo, and straight up defense from Joyner. Competed in the SEC, knowing the type of player Flau'Jae is, but Snetta Collins, who has made an immediate impact in her lone season in Lubbock, top scorer for the Lady Raiders. Maupin is fouled by Flau'Jae Johnson on that 3-point attempt. And so Maupin will go to the line. And that's going to be a fun display here between Flau'Jae and Bailey Maupin.
What I'm seeing from Texas Tech, different from Friday, Villanova had Texas Tech playing rushed. That means they never got to really execute any of their things offensively. Every player that got the ball seemed to be a little bit in a panic. Today, much more composed.
Well, for more on the Lady Raiders, let's send it over to Alyssa.
Yeah, and we were talking to Coach Gurlick yesterday, guys, about, is there a sense of maybe the nerves being taken care of because they were down for so much of the game against Villanova? She said, yeah, I looked at them in the fourth quarter and I said, you can either start playing for we or you can keep playing for me and your season's going to be over. She said it completely changed the look in their eyes. They locked in. I saw some similar type of emotions early in this game here, too.
Well, Lang, when you look at a team that's got 9 seniors and they understand this could be their last game, there can be some panic, and Krista Gurlick did a terrific job to help change that focus.
Well, she has been in the NCAA tournament. Remember, this is the first trip for the Lady Raiders back in the NCAA tournament in a decade. So first appearance since 2013, but she, of course, having won a national championship, played alongside Cheryl Swoops, knows what it's like, and she reminded her team, look, you've earned this. You've earned this opportunity, and think about it. Her head coach, Marcia Sharp, is in the stands watching on and supporting this program who she helped to put on the map.
Well, and Krista Gurlick knows what it takes to have a successful program, and she was a guard for Cheryl Swoops, and with her leadership, she knew, look, everybody else can do what they do. We got to let a superstar be a superstar.
And selfishness there, she says she sees much in her team here. Corner 3, no for Flau'Jae. Sunogo is able to haul in the rebound. Maupin, who has scored the last 6 points, and the theft there, pick the pocket. Flau'Jae coast to coast. That's what she does so well, coming off the bench, and a player who is menacing anytime she's on the floor. Not an all-SEC defensive team selection, though.
Yeah, second in the SEC in steals, 18th in the country, and you don't make all defensive team in the SEC? Come on.
Quickness of Flau'Jae, 98 steals on the season for the junior out of Columbia, South Carolina. Nice cut to the back, and Flau'Jae tried to get the block, but they called her for her second personal foul. And Kim Mulkey cannot believe it. Felicia Grinter is close, telling her to calm down right now after that one does not go the Tigers' way. She was saying perhaps it could have been just a clean block. And they're replaying it in the arena. Fans not happy about it. Maupin back to the free throw line. Knocks down the first. Maupin already with 8 points in this ball game. All Big 12 first team selection for Bailey Maupin.
Okay, Malaysia Flau'Jae has 2 fouls. Flau'Jae Johnson has already picked up one. Well, just in the first quarter, she's going to have to play discipline.
And a little handsy there from Nunez, and she picks up her first personal. So you take a player like Malaysia Flau'Jae, who brings such a nice boost off the bench.
She leading score right?
For the Tigers.
And now she's probably going to have to sit the rest of this first half.
Flau'Jae says, don't worry. Big Fo's like, I got your back. I'll make up for it. No problem.
Look, when Flau'Jae plays like that, she shot the ball and left. She didn't even see. She knew that was going in.
Career best from three-point range this season for the senior.
LSU has size on Bailey Maupin.
And Maupin goes to the floor as it rolls in. Bailey Maupin, who's knocked down a couple of 3 balls. She's got the last 12 points for Texas Tech. And we talked about, again, if the Lady Raiders want to move on to the Sweet 16, they need a tremendous effort from Maupin, who's putting it up just like Michaela Williams back the other way with a deuce.
You don't think both these teams are trying to get to the Sweet 16? I love it.
Well, a tight ball game here in the first quarter of this second round game of the NCAA Women's Championship. Into Sanogo, guarded by Koval, tried to wrap around and spins off the rim. Up ahead, LSU settles. 8 seconds remaining in the quarter. Michaela Williams, step back, 3, short. And that takes us to the close of the first 10 minutes here. 3 other points scored from her team. Meanwhile, Flau'Jae Johnson, a part of 6 who have already put up points for the Tigers. The scoring distribution we talked about earlier for LSU.
Well, what Texas Tech is trying to do is break the rhythm of LSU's offense. Came out of that timeout in a zone, and what does LSU do but turn it over? They've got to be disciplined and read whatever defense Texas Tech.
Remember, she had a game-high 20 Friday, and obviously the family of Flau'Jae Johnson in the house wanting to see her final game in the PMAC. Superstar for LSU has had a phenomenal career, but she has been surrounded by a wonderful cast of talented teammates, and forcing the 7th turnover for Texas Tech.
And look, this is a 1-2 punch. Batman and Robin. Michaela Williams, when she has the basketball, I can guarantee you Flau'Jae Johnson is in the blocks, getting out, sprinting down the floor.
Bouchard over as they swing the ball around on the perimeter. Flau'Jae working on Maupin, going to work again. Too strong off the backboard, and Maupin grabs the rebound.
This is going to be a matchup fun to watch. Number 4 in white, number 20 in black.
They're looking to get Collins going. Maupin, who's certainly picked up.
Players, when you're on the floor, you got a special radar out for each other. And again, I'll go back to Michaela Williams, knowing that she wants to make this a special night for Flau'Jae.
Flau'Jae getting a breather. And Williams looking to go to work. Free throw line, Jay falls. Michaela Williams, just an outstanding scorer. About 14 a game, again, with the great distribution, but the efficiency of which she's shooting the basketball has also been very impressive this season.
Oh, yeah, she's shooting 50, 40, 80. 50% from the floor, 40% from 3, and over 80% from the free throw line.
One of 8 in Division I. to boast that. Bella Hines thought about the three, gave it up. And Richard pulls up, knocks down the three. Well, she is a scorer too. Don't get it twisted. Now she runs the point here. Kim Mulkey is like, get behind this team. Watch us run on 9 straight points to open this quarter for the Tigers.
Jada Richard is a sophomore, and Kim Mulkey said she can flat out score the basketball. The difference from her freshman year to her sophomore year is opportunity. And she was playing, not getting a lot of minutes, but she got in the gym in the offseason and got herself on the floor. And Kim Mulkey really likes her high basketball IQ, and she got a toughness about her. That's a point guard that will get on the floor and fight.
That's that Louisiana vibe that you got. And you think Kim Mulkey from the state as well, played point guard, won a national championship at Louisiana Tech, and the high school championships that Jada Richard has. She said, I love the way Coach coaches me. I think she's hardest on me, forcing another turnover to steal here. Back to Richard. Hines taking her time as they set. Koval finds Williams in the corner. Thought about the three, takes it, no. And on the floor, check out Kate Koval, standing at 6'5", the sophomore transfer from Notre Dame. It's going to be Texas Tech basketball, but again, you can see everyone just laying it out for this senior class led by Flau'Jae Johnson.
Texas Tech, if they want thoughts of upsetting LSU, they've got to rebound with them. Right now, the difference is 9-13, advantage the LSU Tigers.
Sydney Love in the ball game, 10 and black for Texas Tech. Coming over from UTSA, loses the handle. Michaela Williams out and running again in transition. Oh my goodness, the step through. Did y'all see that?
Michaela Williams is the reason I think this LSU Tiger team could be a team we're watching in Phoenix in the Final Four.
They are in the Sacramento 2 regional bracket. The offensive foul. The emotion from Kim Mulkey that we're seeing on the sideline after these big plays. Williams obviously doing damage. 16 points off of turnovers for the Tigers in this first half.
Flau'Jae Johnson is loving what she is seeing from Michaela Williams.
This group who had 13 days off between their last game of the semifinals of the SEC tournament until Friday. They were very intentional about their practices, worked on a lot of things, but they said, hey, look, we've got that energy and emotion back as Knox falls on Joyner as she was going to the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Joyner tried to balance.
Help her not fall.
And instead, she pulled her down with her.
But watch the versatility of Michaela Williams. Kim Mulkey has had her bring the ball down the floor, start the offense. At times, you're going to see her move her in and play the 4. The versatility of number 12 in white, because she can do so many different things. She can handle it. She can shoot the 3. She's got a terrific body to post up and rebound inside.
Player, as you mentioned, you pointed out the bounce that she had. She said, look, I was just itching to get back on the floor and do something special for this tournament run. Collins, who is still scoreless in this one with 5 minutes to go in the half, inside to Sanogo, kicks it back out to Collins, a long 2 and 2 strong as Williams pulls down the board. Her third to go along with 8 points, shooting 50% from the floor.
You see Texas Tech switching up. They'll go zone of possession, come back. Now they're in a man-to-man.
Richard sizing up, launching the 3, foot on the line, no. And Texas Tech out and running. They have Had a tough shooting afternoon from the floor. In the corner, that's Danae Fritz lifting them up. And Danae Fritz now with the 4th three made for Texas Tech.
Fritz gets time to get her feet set.
Oh, so does Michaela Williams, and she can do that. A 43% three-point shooter, and she's able to answer right back.
Now, one of the things Texas Tech talked about in practice yesterday was running her off the three-point line. You cannot allow her, when she gets those puppies lined up, forget about it.
Well, Michaela Williams already off to a phenomenal start here.
Hey, and happy birthday, belated birthday to Janae and also Christine. I think she's got a birthday coming up.
Yeah, I think it's coming up Monday, if I'm not mistaken. And nice birthday cakes. None of them fell in the face.
Oh, yeah, so, a lot of great teamwork there.
That was good. Good job, Drea. Good job, Drea. 2 ago on the shot clock, fading away, and Bailey Maupin makes a top. Bailey Maupin's parents, Texas Tech grads in the stands, looking on, hoping that their senior can advance, but this senior wants to advance as well for LSU. The Tigers, Flau'Jae Johnson continuing to go, and oh yeah, mom's in the stands. Yeah, she's feeling it. Okay.
And getting ready to post.
Yeah, she will post. She will let you know. Kia Brooks watching on.
Yeah, Flau'Jae knows her assignment in guarding Bailey Maupin, and when a player has their focus on the defensive end, you will see them flourish on the offensive end as well.
Another possession deep into the shot clock, giving it up at the last minute. Fritz has it halfway down and pop back out. Offensive rebound for the Lady Raiders. Fritz gets another try, this time top of the key, 3, and she drains it. And the contingency out of Lubbock, Texas, watching their Lady Raiders continuing to try to fight and stay in this one. What a find. Grace Knox with the assist from Amaya Joyner.
Yeah, the new additions to LSU. Grace Knox is a freshman. They all came into this program with the scoring ability, and when you can score you and a willing passer, you're very dangerous.
But they've also had terrific defense. You talked about so important to Kim Mulkey's teams. And that nice finish. Oh, Flau'Jae Johnson saying too small. Johnson, 13 points in her final home game of the PMAC. In the corner, there's Maupin. Yes! And that's one way you can continue to build your way out of this deficit if you can knock down 3 balls.
Yeah, LSU cannot get comfortable because Bailey Maupin, look, she's playing with extra motivation. She got Marsha Sharp in the stands, her parents here. She wants her season to continue.
Williams in the lane, hooping hard. Michaela Williams, who has just taken her game to another level to start this NCAA tournament. She is a woman.
Strength that she has with the basketball, whether it be in the paint, from the three-point line, while she's handling it, she just, I think, tough to guard.
She's a 5-star recruit out of the state, number 2 overall player. McDonald's All-American, and after Flau'Jae Johnson won that SEC Freshman of the Year, she was just like, yeah, I need my hardware as well, winning it the following season. Maupin, too strong. And LSU grabs it back. Well, 16 points for Bailey Maupin. And this Texas Tech team is going to go into the locker room with a deficit. LSU, the nation's leading scoring team, with 43 points already. Kayla Williams, Flau'Jae Johnson teaming up once again in double figures with 27 combined.
I think Texas Tech needs to continue to work, stagger screen, move Maupin around, make the defense have to chase her.
foul whistle against Jada Richard. That's her second. So 8.8 seconds remaining in the half. And Zakiya Johnson back on the floor for the Tigers.
Now Maupin taking the ball out, watch her kick it in, and look for her to get it back.
Directing traffic, she runs to the basket. Malone gets it inside to Maupin. Tough shot at the end, no whistle, and that takes us to the close of the first half. Big foe, 6. Flau'Jae Johnson as we check in with Alyssa.
I caught up with head coach Krista Gerlich coming out of the locker room after halftime. I asked her what the message was to her group. She said, we have to play harder. If we don't want to go out like this, we have to play harder. We got to be tougher. We got to get points in the paint. We have to stop the live ball turnovers. 19 points for LSU in the first half, guys, off of 12 Texas Tech turnovers.
And right on key, Lang Sanogo gets the ball and finishes it inside. In the first half, when the ball would come inside, they would fumble the basketball. The traffic would cause them problems, but she played strong with it in that first possession.
First points in the paint for Krista Gerlich's team, who is trying to inch away at this deficit and try to have a strong opening third quarter here as Zakiya Johnson is able to put it in. Well, all but one Tiger who has touched the floor has gotten to the scoring column. Zakiya Johnson now with 6 points. Just 28% from the field in that first half for Texas Tech. Nunez over to Maupin, and Maupin rims and gets another opportunity. Offensive rebound inside to Sanogo, already with paint points, blocked by Kate Koval. 13 and White swatted it out of there. Johnson in traffic, and she's fouled as we check in with the studio.
Yeah, we want to tell you that last play from Ole Miss, Minnesota. 0.8 seconds left, and Tiana Thompson tries to get it in. But Minnesota would win that one 65-63.
Well, a total of 10 SEC teams made it to the NCAA tournament. Now 8 remaining, with both Ole Miss going down to Minnesota, and we saw Georgia getting ousted yesterday.
This tournament, it gets so exciting, because you got to leave everything on the floor. I think it really hurt Ole Miss with Cody McMahon fouling out. Oh, Minnesota keeps dancing.
They are in the same Sacramento 2 regional as this LSU team. That one's too strong from Fritz. Johnson comes up with it. Keeps the handle, finds Michaela Williams, who inches over just a little bit and is fouled on the three-point attempt. Sanogo with her third personal foul, and 3 free throw attempts upcoming for Williams.
Now it's Flau'Jae Johnson returning the favor. She's looking for Michaela Williams. You see, her eyes are up, and she knows where Michaela Williams is, number 12 in white.
So with Sanogo and those 3 personal fouls, she's on the bench. Jada Malone back in the ball game, along with Snutta Collins, their leading scorer, who is yet to get on the board. Michaela Williams knocks down the second free throw, as we let you know, for the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com.
Now Jada Malone in for Texas Tech. She's playing with 2 fouls as well. She don't want to get an offensive foul, but you know that the Lady Raiders are looking to get the ball inside.
Indeed, they're looking. That was a point of emphasis Friday against Villanova. They had a challenge. They're going back to it here with Malone. Maupin in the corner, wanted it instead, going against Kate.
And I think Michaela tripped 2 of her teammates. See Kim Mulkey talking to Michaela. What happened? They were all trying to sprint. that middle lane in transition.
Well, again, you think about this LSU superstar in Flau'Jae Johnson, who just does it all for Kim Mulkey, and the way that she has talked about her senior, how special she is, all that she does, both as a student and an athlete, the way that she cares and gives to her teammates and to her community. Just model player. Oh my goodness. Did y'all see that? Malaysia Flau'Jae just couldn't complete the play to Clay Cloball, but I mean, that is just the wow factor that Malaysia Flau'Jae has when she plays.
The creativity Kim Mulkey constantly talks about, and she lets Malaysia be Malaysia. When you come here to LSU to be part of the show, it's not a role you have to fill, but what your attributes are, how does that contribute to everybody else?
I love listening to Michaela and Flau'Jae tell us yesterday just about the freedom that they have within this offense, that you can be a hooper and you can do what you do best, to your point, CP, when you're on the floor with the LSU Tigers.
But I want to go back to you talking about the connection of Flau'Jae Johnson. I remember when they won that national championship, ran straight to Kim Mulkey. That hug I will never forget. Then
and she is blocked by Maupin from behind, but think about 140 career games in an LSU uniform, and that was deflected by a couple of Tigers. And just tiptoeing on the end line is Johnson, but Flau'Jae Johnson, 67-3 throughout her career, 67 wins. She's going for number 68 here this afternoon as a part of an LSU Tiger program.
The giving heart of Flau'Jae Johnson. During the winter storm, when it was cold outside, saw a homeless person that didn't have shoes. Flau'Jae went to her car and got her own clothes and shoes and gave them to her.
A KYAL Servant Leader of the Year, the way that she has given her philanthropy, the dollars that she has spent out of her pocket, the way that she has used her brand to help others. And you asked the question, Carolyn, about where that giving spirit comes from.
And she said a lot of that comes from her mom. She saw her mom. She said, number one, she didn't come from a whole lot, but her mom still was giving. And so it's innate in Flau'Jae to have that giving spirit. Flau'Jae Johnson has given to over $250,000 of her own money out of her pocket back to this community.
$6 million in total with brands as we check in with Alyssa Lang.
I was chatting with assistant coach Bob Starkey yesterday, and I asked him what are some of the things he's going to miss about having Flau'Jae around, and he said, the impact off the court. He said, I'm on the KYAL board. She came to us about being more involved. We didn't seek her out. She came to us to make sure she was doing everything possible to be able to give back to that foundation.
Yeah, going back to the KYAL, one of their pink games, Bob Starkey said he would donate $1 for every student that came to the game. And so that rounded up to about like $500. And then Flau'Jae said, well, I've got $1,000. I'm going to put that on it too. And then it just continued to grow. The giving heart of that young woman that has so much talent on the court, but such a huge heart off the court, is a special person.
She's just elevated the game all around, not only here in Baton Rouge, but for all of women's basketball as Johnson picks up her second personal foul. But one of the top scorers all time in LSU history. And you think 2,000 career points. Sylvia Fowl, Simone Augustus, her assistant coach who's sitting on the bench. I mean, she will forever be remembered. We talked about, 15 years from now, when Flau'Jae Johnson returns to Baton Rouge, she's going to be welcomed just like Simone is, the hometown native.
Well, Simone has a statue, and before the game, you and I went over and talked in the student section as Michaela Williams scores again. The student said, Big Four needs a statue. They're going to start a campaign.
Big Four comes up with the steal. Did you see that pass? She jumps. She's like, oh yeah. The finish off by Johnson. The meeting at near half court. Flau'Jae Johnson is on the team. Of course, we know that Izzy Besselman was a part of that as well, as she's on the bench. as well. And look at Flau'Jae Johnson during this break. I mean, that just 31 to go in the third quarter. You see Flau'Jae, and we talked about just how she has stamped her name in the record books, currently 6th all-time scoring. Simone Augustus, her assistant head coach, of course, a phenomenal player, has her jersey retired along with Sylvia Fowles here inside the PMAC, as it's been a part of an impressive list. Joyce Walker, Julie Gross. I mean, Flau'Jae Johnson made sure that they remember Big Four. Because I said, what was one of the things that you were most concerned with coming in? What type of impact did you want to make coming into this LSU program? She said, well, first and foremost, I was trying to be freshman of the year in the SEC.
Look, you got to speak it, put it into existence, and that's what she went and did.
She did that, plus go on to win a national championship alongside Angel Reese. And the pressure there, the trap from Texas Tech, able to get it up ahead. LSU has numbers. Bella Hines pulls up and can't hit. Well, it's just been a tough shooting afternoon for this Texas Tech team. 6 of their 7 points and 6 of their 7 field goals in the first half came from the three-point line. Snutta Collins still held scoreless in this game. She's their leading scorer for the Lady Raiders.
That's why I think this LSU team has a potential to get to Phoenix, because the defense, not only can they score, the defense, they're holding Texas Tech to shoot 24% from the floor.
As that one bounces in for Michaela Williams, now a 20-piece for Williams in the 6th 20-point game or better for the junior. Less than 3 to go. Collins, who has just not been able to see the ball go down. And let's see what's up with Alyssa.
Well, it's not just basketball fans who are celebrating Flau'Jae Johnson today, guys. The head football coach here at LSU, Lane Kiffin, not only in the house, but visited with Flau'Jae before the game. And, of course, he had to get a signed faux jersey. We'll show you what that looked like coming up a little bit later. But pretty cool when the football coach comes to pay his respects to one of the greatest athletes here in LSU history.
I can guarantee you that he puts that signed jersey up in his office and uses it as motivation for his team. Look, this is a woman that came here to LSU and won a national championship. That's going to be his goal leading the football team.
Yeah, high expectations for Kiffin, but you think about these high-profile coaches. Kim Mulkey obviously having great success. Lane Kiffin looking to do the same here in Baton Rouge, but certainly when you've got a Hall of Fame coach in Kim Mulkey, who's got 4 national championships to her credit. I mean, she's the big tiger on campus.
All she does is, how's that song go? Win, 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 no matter what.
That's right.
One as a player, assistant, head coach, and at 2 different programs.
Well, the Kim Mulkey era has been marked with success. The student section certainly shows up every game. Carolyn, you talked to many of the students, asking them, well, how many home games have you been to this year? They said all.
Well, understand, in the NCAA, you have to buy a ticket. So these students have bought tickets. We heard the ladies in the studio talk about when they did game day here. It's live and electric. It is all the way to the top. These fans have come in here. It's not a fluke of a special giveaway that attract the students. They said they come because they love the passion and the talent and the entertainment this team puts on the floor.
That is something special that Kim Mulkey has built since coming in to take over this LSU program. Top 10 D1 attendance the last 5 seasons. And we've seen her do that both at Baylor and now here.
I always leave the hotel a little bit early because I know when I'm coming here, there's going to be traffic. And because I'm here over 2 hours before, there are people lined up to get in here.
Williams kicks out. Bella Hines, good look for 3. It goes down. Bella Hines with her first 3 points. All Tigers who have touched the floor have scored. Williams comes up with the loose ball, finds 4. Back to Williams. Plenty of time. She hits. The jubilation from Johnson on the sideline. And then the smiles, the offensive foul, the charge taken by Grace Knox. Hines, Williams, both knocking down triples. Simone Augustus to go along with Caitlin Rice, that staff. Gary Redis the second, and Daphne Mitchell no longer with the team. They're now at Rutgers as Redis was named the head coach recently. But this group, who used to feed off of his energy, is now bringing something completely different here in the tournament.
You know, it can be a distraction or a motivation, and understanding the amount of the energy that Kim Mulkey said that Gary Redis brought, said she misses that every day, misses his energy in the office. The players have to come together, and they got to bring that energy. And so from the time we have gotten to Baton Rouge at practice, players have taken their part in bringing that energy as well.
Off the block, the pull-up J from Maupin, no. Knox got a hand on it, but Maupin controls it. Collins, who appears hurt. Her foot dragged a little bit there, got stuck. And Snutta Collins was slow to get up, but able to do so under her own power. Collins is like, I'm cool, all good. The senior out of Brookhaven, Mississippi. Another look at it here.
Oh, she slid. You know, make sure the cleanup crew make sure to check that spot.
Johnson. That just makes you sit back in your seat. Mama got to stand up. She said, did you see that? That's my baby. Right? Texas Tech looking for the final shot of the quarter. Stolen away by Hines. Puts it up at half court. Oh, just rims off. A 33-7 quarter by LSU. Complete domination in this third from the Tigers. Big Flo brings all the energy to the floor. Michaela Williams was my recruit when she came on campus. I love the poise in which she plays with, and these two have been an excellent duo here in this NCAA tournament. Flau'Jae Johnson with already her 7th career 20-point game. That's most among active D1 players. Again, when you think about the biggest stages, that's where the stars shine, and she has been the North Star for this LSU program this season.
So special, and both on and off the court, and I think character to go along with talent has a lot to do to make her attractive for the GMs in the WNBA. Just the ultimate team player. You know, how's that song go? Hype your bestie up?
I knew you were going to get it in there somehow, some way.
That's what I see between Flau'Jae and Michaela.
Johnson, a projected top 5 WNBA draft pick coming up next month. Naturally elated to see a new CBA deal in place so that the WNBA season can move forward as scheduled starting in May. Did she do the little
Matumbo
finger?
Oh yeah. She said,
Not in my house. Grace Knox, the freshman out of Las Vegas, Nevada, as Johnson sees it rim off of Maya Joyner with the putback up and in. Again, you think about just the talent all the way around. She was a player of the year in the American Conference as a freshman with ECU. As that one, pickpocket, Johnson, finish. Yes, ma'am. You think she's playing with an extra level of in there?
Oh, no
extra sauce.
question. No question.
Johnson, who is putting on a spectacular performance here in her final game in the PMAC in the second round of the NCAA tournament. As LSU looking to make their 4th straight Sweet 16 appearance. Michaela Williams taking it hard all the way in. No, there's my joiner one more time.
I asked Kim Mulkey what makes this team special. She said my rotation of bigs that she has. Yes, she's got guards, but when you got bigs, you can keep on dancing.
11,000 plus strong inside the PMAC this afternoon, and they are loving.
I know the people here don't. She has a freeway with her name on it. Does she not? I was like, this is awesome. This is an area that appreciates what she has done. And so every time we would go to Lubbock, my staff and I would make the bus driver get on the Marcia Sharp Freeway to remind us, that's pretty special.
Certainly special what Marcia Sharp built in Lubbock, Texas, and just the great career that she has. And that Marcia Sharp Freeway is something that Kim used to take her Baylor team up and down. But right now, Flau'Jae Johnson having her moment here inside the PMAC final game here at home for the special senior. Kim Mulkey said earlier about Big Four having tears, but tears of joy to send her out the right way here at home.
And Kim Mulkey understands the privilege that it is to be able to coach a star like Flau'Jae Johnson, and has allowed her to flourish both on the court, off the court, handling the rigmarole of her. She's a rapper, she's also a student and a basketball player, and handling it with such professionalism.
And the philanthropy work that she does as well, just a great example of a human being is Flau'Jae Johnson. His joiner going on the floor to save that one. Poor Wiley well off the mark, but you think about what Flau'Jae Johnson has done. I mean, she is one of the many stars. She played alongside Angel Reese in her freshman season. And now the Batman and Robin duo, you flip-flop them however you want, CP. Michaela Williams will take a seat as well.
Now, over the last 2 seasons, these two having to be able to bring the success to this program, to maintain the success, especially with the changing of the rosters. Kim Mulkey has brought in transfers, has signed freshmen, and these two, Flau'Jae Johnson and Michaela Williams, adjust, welcome, and have led. So this program has had the success that it has.
And I want to go back to a conversation that we had with Marcia Sharp regarding her national championship team, because she recruited a lot of players out of West Texas. The Louisiana native Kim Mulkey was able to also bring in players like a Jada Richard and a Michaela Williams into this program. When you think about all that she built during her 21 seasons at Baylor, and in 3 national championships, 20-plus Big 12 titles, and now here at LSU, much of the same with that 2023 national championship. the first in program history.
Well, you got Kim Mulkey. When she first got the job at Baylor, she had a game in Lubbock, and she remembers the crowd, and she's like, number one, what have I got myself into? But number two, I hope one day that she could build that at Baylor. She did. What did she do immediately when she came to Baton Rouge? Built the same thing. When you look at the attendance that has been game in and game out here in Baton Rouge.
3 Hall of Fame coaches and 3 national championship coaches inside the building. I'm sitting next to one, Carolyn Peck, and we've talked about Coach Mulkey along with Coach Sharp as well. 3 of the 16 winning championship head coaches. Well, Minnesota surviving and advancing. That last-second shot over Ole Miss to move on. They will face either UCLA, the top seed, or Oklahoma State, and Duke Baylor in action. Duke currently on top. And another senior off the court, My Joyner, finishing her afternoon with her 50th career double-double. 11 points and 11 rebounds for My. This Sacramento Regional 2, you think about, okay, the winner of this game, likely LSU, 5 minutes and 51 seconds away from that, will face off against either Duke or Baylor. So it could be an interesting storyline if the Bears are able to come back and Kim Mulkey goes against her former team, or will she face off against Carol Lawson and the Blue Devils?
Yeah, really hot Duke team coming off winning the ACC regular season, the ACC tournament. Their offense has really turned around to go along with the defense that Carol Lawson implemented when she took over at Duke.
A lot of potential scenarios, but you think about this. You've got a number 2 seed in LSU, top seed again in the region is UCLA. When Kim Mulkey won the national championship here, that LSU team was a 3 seed. And so you have remarked, Carolyn, just about how this team has all the pieces.
Is important, and I think that LSU has a ton of that. She can play, 9-10 play.
You know, we talked about the nation's top scoring team, certainly putting up big numbers in this NCAA tournament, Carolyn. Just all around. You know, Kim Mulkey wasn't necessarily pleased after that win Friday, even though they put up 116 points. She says our defense wasn't what it needed to be. Today, though, has been a completely different story. And again, all around performances from our Tigers.
Well, she said she knew at the beginning of the season this team could score and had to harp on defense and rebounding. And she said, now when we harp on it, yeah, we'll break down the film, things that we didn't do well, but she also highlights when it's good. She's going to have a whole lot of good to show them after the game today.
Now to the timeout, 5:24 remaining. One of the things that we talked about earlier, and you heard Alyssa mention, associate head coach Bob Starkey, and the job that he has done alongside since returning to LSU. 17 seasons in total with the women's basketball program, part of that Final Four run where they had 5 straight. He was an acting head coach back then. But now Kim Mulkey says, I need you back. So 4 seasons ago, he joins the staff. And when you look at just the overall picture for, again, a national championship contending team, you've got the play on the court, but it's also equally as important to have a wonderful staff alongside you.
Well, when you've got an assistant coach like Bob Starkey, who is in charge of all of the scouting, and we've watched him in different, he is out there in every practice, taking them from point A to point B, knows everything every team's going to do.
And for more on that, Alyssa Lang got a chance to talk with Coach Starkey about the scout.
Yeah, I was just curious about his process, right, guys? We do nothing but watch tape and watch games all week long, but I'm still not sure that anyone watches more basketball than that man right there, Bob Starkey. So he said it starts with having a great understanding of what your head coach needs. He sends Kim Mulkey an email every single night, 11 o'clock, with a recap of what he worked on that day, the next opponent, who's coming up a couple of games from now. He said he starts with analytics to narrow down which games to pull. He said you can learn a lot from the numbers, what works, what doesn't. He said, I want to watch 3 or 4 of their most recent games. I want to see one where they got beat bad, and I want to see one where they dominated the opposing team.